Greetings, this is Vane. Welcome back to Let's Play Planescape Torment. Okay. The shambling corpse gazes at you with the vacant eyes. Her skin is paper thin, almost wispy. It's like someone has draped a sheet of cobwebs across her frame. The number 594 has been scratched into her forehead with a charcoal pencil. So, doing anything later? The corpse continues to stare at you. Farewell then. Psst. You see the way she was looking at me, huh? You see the way she was following the curve of my occipital bone? You mean that blank-eyed beyond the grave stare? What? Are you blind? She was scouting me out. It was shameless the way that she wanted me. I think you're imagining things. She's a zombie, a corpse, a dead person. You probably didn't even register to her senses. Yeah, whatever. When you've been dead as long as I have, you know the signals. They may be too subtle for you to pick up on, but that's why while I'll be spending my nights with some luscious, recently dead chit, while you're standing around going, huh? What's going on? Where's my memories? Whatever, Morte. Let's go. Bloodstains, rust and other remains cover the surface of this metal slab. It is much larger than most of the other slabs, and it is sitting on a platform that allows it to be rotated. The left side of this woman's face looks as if it was caved in with a club, and her flesh sags in bruised, swollen clumps over a ruined skull. The number 626 has been stitched into the corpse's right cheek, just below the eye. Nasty wound you've got there. The corpse continues to stare at you with one good eye. Farewell then.
Done.
This corpse is lumbering along a triangular path. Once it reaches one of the corners of the triangles, it pauses, then turns and staggers to the next corner. It has 965 tattooed on its side of its skull. As you approach, it halts and stares for you. Huh. Looks like someone forgot to tell this sod to stop walking the rule of three. What do you mean? These corpses don't have much left in the attic, so they can't do more than one task at a time. When they're told to do something, they'll keep doing it until someone tells them to stop. This poor sod probably finished some task and they forgot to tell him. You said something about the rule of three. What did you mean by that?
Updated my journal.
Well, the rule of three is one of those laws of the planes about things tending to happen in threes, or everything's composed of three parts, or there's always three choices, and so on and so forth. You don't sound like you hold much faith in it. It's a load of wash if you ask me. If you look for a number, any number, and try to attach some great meaning to it, you're going to find plenty of coincidences. I see, before you said someone put this corpse to a task, then forgot to tell them to stop. Who give these corpses the tasks said to do? Either one of the caretakers here, or else whatever necromancer raised them out of the dead book. Probably one of the caretakers here. They're the ones who need cheap labour after all. Understood. I wanted to examine this zombie a bit more. So why are you walking in a triangle? corpse stares at you blankly. Leave the corpse in peace.
Done. Done. All right.
Okay. Journal. Morte mentioned something about the rule of three. Apparently, some people believe everything tends to happen in three, and I attach a great meaning to this number. His corpse is shuffling from slab to slab, bandaging the corpses lying there. The number 396 is carved into the left temple, and his lips are stitched closed. You notice the corpse is carrying a roll of bandages in its hand. The bandages look usable. Mind if I borrow those bandages? The corpse continues to stare at you. Try and take the bandages from the zombie. You sneak your hand out and take the roll of bandages from the corpse's hand. The corpse doesn't even seem to notice it. He continues going through the motions of bandaging the bodies. Examine the corpse again. The corpse is shuffling from slab to slab, bandaging the corpse's lie there. It's still carrying on about his duties even without bandages. The number 396 is carved into his left temple and his lips are stitched closed. Sorry about taking those bandages from you. It's just that I need them more than the bodies here. The corpse can just stare at you. Leave the corpse in peace.
I'm gone.
Receiving room logbook. Receiving room logbook. This huge logbook lists mortuary procedures in a tight crab scripts. All shells entering the mortuary are to be delivered to the receiving room and logged with the scribe on duty before being embalmed or cremated. The records are to be checked to determine if the shell is one of the contracted. If so, do not prepare the shell. Move the shell to one of the preparation rooms. Contact the scribe on duty and notify him that a contracted shell is to be raised. Be certain that a shell is thoroughly stripped of its possessions here before being sent to the preparation rooms. The contracted workers are intended for simple manual labour and do not have the capacity to search and strip a shell. The faction is not responsible for any possessions lost or items stolen by collectors who have brought the shells to the mortuary. The shell's possessions are to be stored in the receiving room until an initiate can be sent to claim them. Please catalogue all possessions in the logbook. Following the list is thousands of entries of bodies that have been sent to the receiving room. As you flip through the rest of the book, however, you notice the last page has been cut out. Okay.
I'm gone.
The number 1201 has been inked into the forehead of this corpse. The ink has run down its eyes, cheeks and jaw. As you follow the ink tears down the corpse's face, you notice run into the stitching sealing the corpse's lips and is caught on what looks like the corner of a note stuck in the corpse's mouth. Try and pull the note out. The note has mingled with the ichor in the zombie's mouth. If you tried to pull the paper out through the cross stitches, it would tear the paper to shreds. Hacking up the corpse to get at it looks like it will destroy the note. You need to find a delicate way to remove the stitches before removing the note. Use a scalpel to cut through the stitches. You deftly slice through the stitches, sealing the corpse's mouth. The jaw sags open. You carefully pull the note from the corpse's mouth. Despite the condition of the paper, the writing on it still appears legible. Note: to read notes, books or scrolls, place them in your inventory, then right click on them to bring up their information panel. Examine the corpse again. The number 1201 has been inked to the forehead of the corpse. Then the ink has run down across its eyes, cheeks and jaw, making it look as if it is crying. Its jaw is hanging open and a trail of ichor is trickling from the corners of its mouth. Sorry about slicing those stitches. I just had to see what was in your mouth. Corpse's milky white eyes stare at you vacantly. Leave the corpse in peace. Okay, we have fist irons, 2 to 4 crushing. Not usable by mages. This crude iron bar is designed to slip over the fist, with the thick portion resting in the palm and the iron ring facing outwards over the knuckles. While wearing these fist irons, a single punch can shatter someone's jaw. Note: many weapons in Torment do similar amounts of damage, but the type of damage each weapon does varies. Some creatures are more vulnerable to certain types of damage than others. If your current weapon isn't doing much damage against a creature, chances are it is resistant to it. Switch off weapons and see which one works best. Okay. Note from corpse 1201. It's a foul-smelling note retrieved from the mouth of one of the mortuary zombies. It looks like it was sewn into the corpse's mouth by accident. Despite its condition, the writing is legible. Please, to whatever dustman reads this, I beg of you. I know of my legal obligation under the terms of the dead contract, but I am prepared to offer more than my signing fee if you will cremate my body rather than raising it. I have arranged for this note to be left with my body upon my death. If you are reading this, then please use this note as instructed and accept the result in exchange for my contracted duty. Let my contract number serve as the key. It looks like the corpse was too late to prevent the raising, but you notice that beneath the writing is a diagram. It looks like directions for folding the parchment into a strange pattern. Note: if you are ever capable of examining an object further, or of performing an action on the object outside of the world screen, a use button will appear for the object on this examine screen. This button allows you to manipulate the item through a dialog screen. If you wish to examine a diagram on this note further, select the use button below. Okay, this foul-smelling note has a strange looking diagram inscribed beneath the writing. It looks as if it's instructing you to fold the corners of the note so their points touch the centre. There is a series of strange marks on each corner. 1 mark on the upper right, 2 marks on the lower right, 3 marks on the lower left, no marks on the upper left. Okay, so let's 1201. 1 mark on the upper right, so we'll deal with that. Then lower right, then upper left, and then again on the upper right. So upper right, you fold the corner inwards so its point touches the centre. Okay. Lower right, fold the corner inwards so its point touches the centre. upper left. As you fold the upper left inwards towards the centre, you watch as the upper right unfolds itself, resuming its normal position. Fold the upper right back to the centre. As you fold the upper right corner back into the centre, the lower left corner mirrors the action until all the corners touch in the centre. You watch for a moment and the corners of the paper rise up, turning the note into a small four-sided paper pyramid. Open the sides of the pyramid. You peel back the sides of the pyramid and the paper disintegrates into dust. Inside is a small triangle-shaped earring. It catches the light and gleams brightly. Take the triangle earring. Okay. You received this small earring from folding a note in the mouth of one of the walking corpses in the mortuary. It's a beautiful earring, but despite its beauty, all it seems to do is remind you of how strange this world you've woken up in is. No, some items are magical, but require that they be identified before they can be used. If you cannot determine what an item is at first glance, then you may need to take it to someone with a higher lore skill than you or your party members. So. Okay. The smell of formaldehyde emanating from this corpse is particularly strong. It smells like it was applied recently and with good reason. The corpse appears to be in an advanced stage of decay. Her jaw is missing and some of the flesh has slid off her skull, revealing the number 1072 chiseled into the bone. I think this one has seen better days. The corpse does not respond to your voice. In fact, it has no jaw. May have something to do with it. Either that, or it simply has nothing to say. Farewell then. His body is completely covered by a rough, dark cloth. This gate looks sealed shut. There is no lock or other means of opening it.
Done.
This walking corpse has the numbers 1094 carved into its forehead. Its mouth has been sewn tightly shut, and the chemical reek of fresh formaldehyde hangs in an overpowering cloud around it. Despite the pallid, sunken features and lifeless, milky eyes, it is clear that this was once a handsome young man. So, seen anything interesting going on? The corpse continues to stare at you. Leave the corpse in peace. This corpse has been completely wrapped in bandages like a mummy. This book is huge. It must contain thousands of names. The scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and has a slight trace of yellow, like old parchment. Charcoal grey eyes lie within an angular face, and a large white beard flows down the front of his robes like a waterfall. His breathing is ragged and irregular, but even his occasional coughing does not slow the scratching of his quill pen. Greetings. Well, Chief, what are you doing? I was going to speak with this scribe. He might know something about how I got here. Look, rattling your bone box with dust should be the last thing. Before Morte can finish his rant, the scribe begins coughing violently. After a moment or two, the coughing spell dies down, and the scribe's breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. And we especially shouldn't be swapping the chant with sick dusties. Come on, let's leave. The quicker we give this place to laugh, the better. Before Morte can finish, the scribe's grey eyes flicker to you. The weight of years hangs heavy upon me, restless one. He places down his quill, but I do not yet count deafness among my ailments. Restless One, do you know me? Know you, I. There is a trace of bitterness in the scribe's voice as he speaks. I have never known you, Restless One. No more than you have known yourself. He is silent a moment. For you have forgotten, have you not? Who are you? As always, the question. And the wrong question, as always. He bows slightly, but the movement suddenly sends him into a bout of coughing. I, he pauses for a moment, catches breath. I am Dahl. Perhaps you can answer some questions for me, Dahl.
Updated my journal.
Very well. What do you wish to know? What is this place? You are in the Mortuary, Restless One. Again you have come. Before he can finish, Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing. After a moment he calms down and his breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. This is the waiting room for those about to depart the shadow of this life. Tell me about the Mortuary. This is where the dead are brought to be interred or cremated. It is our responsibility as dustmen to care for the dead, those who have left this shadow of life and walk the path to true death. Dahl's voice drops in concern. Your wounds must have exacted a heavy toll if you do not recognize this place. It is almost your home. Shadow of life? Yes, a shadow. You see, Restless One, this life. It is not real. Your life, my life, they are shadows, flickerings of what life once was. This life is where we end up after we die. And here we remain, trapped, caged, until we achieve the true death. True death? True death is non-existence, a state devoid of reason, of sensation, of passion. Dahl coughs and gives a ragged wheeze, a state of purity. Sounds like oblivion. Why would anyone want that? Is it not? Is it worse than remaining in the shadow of what life once was? I think not. I see. I have some other questions. Very well. What do you wish to know? How did I get here? Dahl snorts in contempt as if you find the memory repugnant. Your mouldy chariot ferried you to the Mortuary, Restless One. You would think you were royalty based on the number of loyal subjects that lay stinking and festering upon the cart that carried you. I arrived here on a cart.
Updated my journal.
Yes, your body was somewhere in the middle of the heap, sharing its fluids with the rest of the mountain of corpses. Dahl breaks into another violent fit of coughing. Finally catching his breath minutes later, your Seneschal Farod was, as always, pleased to accept a few mouldy coppers to dump the lot of you at the Mortuary gate. Who is this Farod? He is a collector of the dead. Dahl draws a ragged breath, then continues. We have such people in our city that scavenge the bodies of those who have walked the path of true death and bring them to us so that they may be interred properly. Where can I find this Farod? If events persist as they always have, Restless One, you have a much greater chance of Farod finding you and bringing you to us again before you find whatever ooze puddle he wallows in it this time. Nevertheless, I must find him. A slight warning creeps into Dahl's tone. Do not seek out Farod, Restless One. I am certain it will simply come full circle again, with you none the wiser, and Farod a few coppers richer. Accept death, Restless One. Do not perpetuate your circle of misery. I have to find him. Do you know where he is?
Updated my journal.
Dahl is silent for a moment. When he finally speaks, he seems to do so reluctantly. I do not know under which gutter stone Farod lairs at the moment, but I imagine he can be found somewhere beyond the Mortuary gates in the hive. Perhaps someone there will know where you can find him. Doesn't sound like you like Farod much. There are some I respect, Restless One. There are some I respect, Restless One. Dahl takes a ragged breath and steadies himself. Farod is not one of them. He wears his heel repute like a badge of honour and takes liberties with the possessions of the dead. He is a knight at the post, cross-trading filth for the lowest sort. Knight of the post? A knight at the post. Dahl coughs. A thief. All Farod brings to our walls come stripped of a little less of their dignity than they possessed in life. Farod takes whatever he may pry from their stiffening fingers. Did this Farod take anything from me? Dahl pauses, considering. Most likely. Are you missing something? Especially something of value? His voice dips as he frowns. Not that Farod would take exception to anything that wasn't physically grafted to your body, and sometimes even that's not enough to give his greedy mind pause. I'm missing a journal. A journal. If it was of any value, then it likely lies in Farod's hands. I see I have some other questions. Can you tell me how to get out of here? The front gate is the most obvious exit, but they will not let anyone other than a dustman pass. Dahl breaks into a ragged cough and then continues. One of the guides at the front gate has a key to it, but it's unlikely he will open it unless you are extremely pervasive. I see. I had some other questions. Do you know who I am?
Updated my journal.
I know scant little of you, Restless One. I know little more of those that have journeyed with you and who now lie in our keeping. Dahl sighs. I ask you no longer ask others to join with you, Restless One. Where you walk, so walks misery. Let your burden be your own. There are others who have journeyed with me, and they are here.
Updated my journal.
Do you not know of the woman's corpse interred in the memorial hall below? I had thought that she had travelled with you in the past. Dahl looks like he is about to start coughing and then catches his breath. Am I mistaken? Where is her body? The Northwest Memorial Hall on the floor below us. Check the biers there. Her name should be on one of the memorial plates. Mayhaps that will revive your memory. I don't know. I don't recall ever travelling with a woman. Dahl makes no response to this. He simply stares at you in silence. For you said there were others interred here who journeyed with me. Where are they? Doubtless there are, but I know not their names nor where they lie. One such as you has left a path many have walked and few have survived. Dahl gestures around you. All dead come here. Some must have travelled with you. Some must have travelled with you once. I find no fault with your reasoning. I had some other questions. What do you do here? I am a scribe, a cataloguer of all the shells that come to the mortuary. Dahl coughs again and then takes a deep breath. As long as the stream of corpses flows through the mortuary, I shall remain in my post. You say that I have been here more than once. How is it that the dustmen do not recognise me?
Updated my journal.
I am the one that catalogues the shells that come to our halls, Restless One. Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing instead of himself. Only I see the faces of those that lie upon our slabs. The dark of your existence lies safe with me. I had some other questions. You sound ill. Are you not well? I am close to the true death, Restless One. It will not be long before I pass beyond the eternal boundary and find the peace I have been seeking. I tire of this mortal sphere. Dahl gives a ragged sigh. The plains hold no wonders, more wonders for one such as I. Are you certain? There might be somewhere I could help you. I do not wish to live forever, nor live again, Restless One. I could not bear it. Farewell, I had some other questions. Nothing. Farewell, Dal. As you turn to leave, Dal speaks. Know this, I do not envy you, Restless One. To be reborn as you would be a curse I could not bear. You must come to terms with it. At some point your path will return you here. Dal coughs, the sound rattling in his own throat. It is the way of all things flesh and bone, and perhaps we will meet again, Dal. Okay.
I'm gone.
Let's have a look what we got. Okay, I met a sickly scribe named Dal in the mortuary. He knew I had forgotten myself before I even spoken to him. Did I know him before I lost my memories? I was hoping to get some answers, but this place seems to breed more and more questions. Apparently Farod delivered my body here in a cart along with a heap of other corpses. Was I actually dead when he did this? Dal told me that Farod can be found beyond the mortuary in some place called the Hive. He didn't seem to want me to go hunting Farod, but then again, he's not the one who's lost his memories and woken up from the dead, so he can keep his opinions to himself. Dal suggested I ask some of the people in the Hive where I can find Farod. I asked Dal if he knew me, and he responded that he knew little about me, and even less about the companions that had travelled with me in the past. Apparently their bodies lie in the mortuary. Perhaps seeing them will cause my memories to resurface. Dal told me of one of the women who journeyed with me is interred in the memorial hall on the first floor of the mortuary. Dal told me it is the one responsible for keeping my return visits to the mortuary a secret from the rest of the dustmen. Since he is a scribe in the receiving room, he is one of the only ones that sees my body when he arrives here. Dal. That's what he looks like. This elderly scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and has a slight trace of yellow like old parchment. Dead, charcoal grey eyes lie within an angular face, a non-human face, as the ears narrow to points. A large white beard flows down the front of his grey robes like a waterfall. He coughs occasionally. The book he works in front of is huge and seems to contain many names. Okay. So I am going to save that here. So this has been Vane doing Let's Play Planescape Torment. If you like what you see in here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider sponsoring me on Patreon. And until next time, goodbye.